Hi guys and welcome back. I'm actually on a bit of a roll with the Beetle project, so I'm just going to carry on. So on the driver's door, I've already done the lower repair panel, and the other little niggly bit was actually this rotten area here on the door, which I suspect somebody has actually removed the paint on this area and then just left it to rust. So what I'm going to do is clean up the hinge using the wire wheel on the grinder, as these areas are really difficult to get prepped, and this is a good opportunity to get that done first. Then what I'm going to do is just make a little repair panel that I can just weld back into position. So there we go, a little bit crude I know, but it's going to do the job. I've actually put a slight curve in there to match the curve of the panel, and then I've just bent that tag over here so I can spot weld it in the side. So what's left now is just to weld it into position. So that's the repair panel in place, welded and ground back, which is great because it means I can body work this area along with the rest of the door now. So if you've been following this channel on the Mirror and the Beetle, you'll know that there is no shortage of awkward repairs. And here's another one. You can see here that this area is totally rotten out around the bottom of this rear window. So this is actually an awkward and tricky repair on so many levels. I mean, the biggest problem is actually getting this shape correct, as if you don't get the shape correct, the rear window will not fit. And the shape itself here, you can see it's got a rounded edge here, and then it's got a right angle with a return edge where it's spot welded to this inner panel. And another problem I have is not actually having the correct tools to really make a nice panel for this area. There's a tool called a shrinker stretcher, and what you can do is you can actually shrink the metal, or you can expand it in a way that you can actually make some really nice curves. But I don't actually have one of these, so all this has to be made manually. So we've got an awkward repair section to make up here, and you can see there's these two little holes. They're not actually rust holes, they're actually drain holes. So we actually need to keep those ones there and re-drill them. So pretty awkward, but not impossible. What I actually need to do is I actually need to make this section in sections. So the first thing I actually need to do is run a cutting disc down here and replicate this return edge. And then what I can do is then cut it further back on this rolled edge and make a section that goes inside. And then finally, I'll attack this rolled edge here, as I already know that the shape here will be correct with the bit that I've just replaced. So that's that rusted section there removed. And what I've done is I've also drilled some extra holes here so I can plug weld this panel from the back. And I've also just sprayed a bit of zinc on there. So that's the repair panel made up for this area here, and I've purposely left a little bit more material on there just so I can actually mess around with it if needed. You can see there actually looking pretty good. The shape is actually quite nice, so I'm pretty happy that I can use that as a datum to where this panel needs to meet. So the next thing I need to do is just mark and cut this flatter part of the section in here. We'll cut that out the way and we'll make a new section. So that's the other section here in place. I've just put a couple of tacks there just to hold it, and then I've just shaped it with my hand just to get that shape there correct, following the edge of the panel that I haven't yet cut off. In fact, that's actually the next thing I need to do. I need to just mark and cut this rusted section off here and then remake this bit here to meet the new panel. So that's that little repair section in place. I just made some incisions at the top there to make that edge roll around. Using the hammer, I was able to just bend it round and then just cut off the excess. So what I need to do now is just unclip this back section of the panel and weld the back edge, grind it back, and we'll put some zinc primer on the back of this section, and then plop it back in, and we'll just weld up all the little bits. Just something I'd like to point out, if you're welding in the back area of a Beetle, you can see this foam that's in there. This stuff here just loves to smoulder. If you hit it with a blim of weld or angle grinding sparks, it will actually just smoulder, and it will keep on going all the way up this pillar. So just be careful with this. Make sure that it's completely out if it does catch fire. But yeah, you have been warned. So that's that panel welded in position, both on the front and the back, and I've also ground down the welds, just sanded the area ready for the body filler, and I've also just reshaped this here, following the original line of the interior panel. So that repair, although a bit crude, has actually come out pretty well, all things considering. All I need to do now is bodywork it. I've also drilled those 2 drain holes back into the panel. So that's another little awkward area sorted on the Beetle. Thanks as always for watching. See you next time. Cheers! In the next episode, I really need to sort out this valance here. As you can see, it's badly dented inwards and it's also creased. And not only that, I do need to replace this trim holder. And as it is really kind of bent in and it's almost springy, what we're going to end up doing is getting the porta power across here and bending it back up. But check that out in the next episode.